In a world where the shadows of doubt often loom larger than dreams, one man's wisdom illuminated a path toward hope and transformation. On a warm afternoon in the rolling hills of Galilee, the sun dipped low, casting a golden hue over the fields. Jesus gathered his disciples around him, sensing their restlessness and the struggles they faced. Each had dreams of greatness, but doubt often clouded their hearts. Today he felt compelled to share a story, a tale that would plant the seeds of a growth mindset in their souls. As they settled on the grass, Jesus began, "There once was a small seed, nestled deep in the fertile soil. This seed had dreams of becoming a towering tree, with branches that touched the heavens. But every day, it lay buried beneath the earth, worried and afraid. It looked around and saw mighty trees standing tall, their leaves dancing in the wind, and it felt small and insignificant. The disciples leaned in, captivated by his words. Jesus continued, "One day a wise old tree, sensing the seed's despair, whispered, 'Do not be afraid, little one. Growth comes from pushing through the darkness. Embrace the challenge. You are capable of more than you know.'" At that moment, one of the disciples, Peter, spoke up. "But what if the seed fails, Lord? What if it never becomes a tree?" Jesus smiled gently. "Ah, Peter, that is the heart of the matter. The seed must first break apart to grow. It must trust the process no matter how daunting. Every challenge it faces is a step toward its true potential. It must believe in the power within it." The disciples nodded, but a sense of uncertainty lingered in the air. Jesus noticed their doubt and continued the story. Encouraged by the old tree's wisdom, the little seed decided to push upwards. It broke through the surface and the sunlight kissed its fragile leaves. Yet the journey was not easy. Storms battered it and drought threatened its survival. There were days when the little seed wished it had stayed buried, but it remembered the tree's words. As Jesus spoke, he noticed the tears glistening in the eyes of some disciples. He continued with passion. The seed learned to embrace each struggle. With every storm it grew stronger. With every dry spell it learned to conserve its energy. Over time it began to flourish. The branches stretched wide, and it became a shelter for weary travelers and a home for birds. The scene shifted as Jesus spoke of the tree's transformation. Years passed, and the once timid seed became the grandest tree in the forest, reaching heights that seemed impossible. It provided shade and comfort to those in need, teaching them the power of resilience and belief. And it stood tall not just for itself, but for every little seed that dared to dream. As Jesus spoke of the tree's triumph, he recalled a moment in the tree's journey that filled his heart with warmth. One day, a child wandered into the forest, lost and afraid. The tree, noticing the child's tears, leaned down its branches and whispered, "Come here, little one. You are safe beneath my shade." The child, feeling the warmth of the tree's presence, sat down, allowing the tree to comfort him. In that moment, the child's fears melted away, replaced by hope and wonder. Jesus paused, allowing the image of the child finding solace to resonate in the hearts of his disciples. He continued, "The tree realized that its journey was not just for itself but also for those who would find refuge in its embrace. The love and resilience it cultivated became a beacon of hope, reminding others that they too could grow beyond their struggles." The disciples, now emotionally invested in the story, felt a surge of inspiration. Thomas, always the skeptic, leaned forward. "Lord, how can we, like the tree, make a difference in the world when we feel so small?" Jesus replied, his eyes sparkling with understanding, "Ah, Thomas, that's the beauty of growth. Even the smallest seed can produce the greatest tree. Your actions, no matter how small, can have a ripple effect. When you embrace your struggles and share your journey, you inspire others to do the same. Your growth can spark a wildfire of change." With renewed vigor, the disciples began to understand the depth of Jesus' message. They saw their own struggles mirrored in the tale of the seed and the tree. Jesus continued, "Remember, my friends, every obstacle you face is an opportunity for growth. When you stumble, do not dwell on the fall. Instead, rise with a determination to learn and grow. The tree did not fear the storms. It welcomed them as part of its journey. The sun began to set, casting long shadows as Jesus wrapped up the story. And so, my dear friends, like that little seed, each of you has the potential to grow beyond your fears. Embrace your struggles, for they are not barriers but stepping stones. A growth mindset is not just about achieving greatness, it is about the journey of becoming. When you face challenges, remember that you too can break through the darkness and reach for the sky. The disciples sat in silence, reflecting on his words. A sense of hope filled the air, and smiles began to break across their faces. They felt lighter, as if the weight of doubt had been lifted. Jesus looked at them, his heart swelling with love. Always remember, you are capable of incredible things. Trust the process and let your hearts bloom like the flowers in the field. As they prepared to leave, John, the beloved disciple, approached Jesus with a spark of realization in his eyes. Lord, if we share this story with others, we can help them find their strength too. Jesus smiled, nodding in agreement. Exactly, John. When you share your journey, you create a chain of resilience. Each story shared can empower another soul to grow. Remember the tree, its growth did not end with itself. It became a sanctuary for others, and in doing so, it fulfilled its purpose. With that wisdom, the disciples began to share the story among themselves, their voices filled with enthusiasm. As they walked away from the gathering, they felt inspired, ready to embrace their own journeys of growth. They understood that their struggles were not in vain. They were the very essence of their transformation. Days turned into weeks, and the disciples took Jesus' teachings to heart. They began to seek out others in need of encouragement, sharing the tale of the little seed and the grand tree. They visited villages and towns, sharing not only the story but their personal experiences, showing how they had faced their own challenges. In one village, they met a woman named Miriam, a once great artist whose confidence had crumbled after a series of failures. She felt as though her dreams were buried, much like the seed Jesus spoke of. As they shared the story with her, tears streamed down her face. "I have forgotten what it means to believe in myself," she confessed. With compassion, the disciples urged her to embrace her journey. "Like the seed, you have the potential to grow," they encouraged. "Every stroke of paint is a step toward your dreams. Don't fear failure, let it be your teacher." Inspired, Miriam picked up her brush once more. With each stroke, she poured her heart into her art, embracing the process of creation rather than the outcome. Her art began to flourish again, reflecting not just her skills but her journey of resilience. As she unveiled her work at a local festival, her eyes sparkled with joy, and the crowd erupted in applause, celebrating her rebirth as an artist. Word of the disciples' mission spread, and soon they were visiting more villages, creating a network of growth and inspiration. They found others like Miriam, those who felt lost, afraid, or defeated. They shared stories of overcoming struggles, teaching people to view their challenges as opportunities for growth. In one village, they met a young boy named Eli, who struggled with learning to read. His classmates often teased him, and he felt isolated and discouraged. The disciples gathered the children, telling them the story of the seed and the tree. They encouraged Eli, telling him that each word he learned was like a branch growing stronger. Eli took the message to heart. With the support of his friends and the encouragement of the disciples, he persevered. Each day he practiced reading, slowly but surely gaining confidence. As time passed, he not only learned to read but also began to share stories with his classmates, inspiring them to explore the world of books. The once timid boy became a storyteller, sharing adventures that captivated his peers and ignited their imaginations. As the disciples continued their journey, they reached a village called Nazareth, where they encountered a community in despair. The villagers had been hit hard by drought and famine, their crops failing and their spirits dwindling. As they gathered in the village square, Jesus spoke, "Do not lose hope, for every drought can teach us valuable lessons about perseverance." One villager, a farmer named Jacob, approached Jesus. "Lord, we have tried everything. Our seeds have withered and our families are suffering. How can we find strength in this darkness?" Jesus replied with empathy, "Just as the seed must push through the soil to reach the light, you too must persevere. Together we will create a plan to restore hope and nourishment to this land. Let us work together, drawing upon our shared strengths." The villagers were hesitant, but with Jesus' guidance they began to gather their resources. They shared tools, knowledge, and skills, creating a collective effort to dig deeper wells and find new sources of water. They learned to diversify their crops, planting varieties that could withstand drought conditions. Slowly, hope began to blossom, mirroring the efforts of the tree in their hearts. One day, while the villagers worked tirelessly under the sun, they were visited by a traveler named Ruth, who had heard of their plight. Ruth had once lived in a similar village, where she had struggled but learned to adapt and innovate in her farming practices. She approached Jacob and the other villagers with enthusiasm. "I have come to help. I faced challenges similar to yours, and I know what it takes to turn despair into hope." With Ruth's guidance, the villagers learned new techniques for conserving water and improving soil quality. They experimented with planting cover crops that would enrich the earth, and Ruth shared her own story of growth, emphasizing the importance of a growth mindset. "Every setback is a setup for a comeback," she encouraged them, and her words resonated deeply. As the villagers implemented her strategies, they witnessed the gradual transformation of their fields. Green shoots began to appear and their spirits lifted. Together they celebrated each small victory, understanding that their growth was not just about crops but about building resilience and community. To celebrate their newfound strength, the villagers decided to host a festival, inviting surrounding communities to join in their triumph. They decorated the village with vibrant colors, showcasing their journey from despair to hope. The once barren fields became a backdrop for joy and laughter. During the festival, the disciples shared the story of the little seed and the grand tree with everyone present. Jesus encouraged everyone to share their own stories of struggle and triumph, fostering a spirit of unity and support. As people opened their hearts and shared their experiences, they found comfort in knowing they were not alone in their challenges. As night fell, the festival culminated in a beautiful ceremony where the villagers planted a symbolic tree in the center of the square. Each villager shared a wish for their future while placing a handful of soil around the base of the tree, a reminder of their journey and growth. Years passed and the tree grew strong, becoming a symbol of resilience and hope in the village. It stood tall, its branches reaching for the sky, providing shade and comfort to all who gathered beneath it. The villagers continued to nurture their bond, supporting one another through challenges and celebrating each other's successes. Miriam, the artist, returned to the village to paint a mural on the side of a communal building, depicting the journey of the villagers alongside the tree. Each brushstroke told a story of struggle and triumph, capturing the essence of their growth mindset. The mural became a point of pride for the community, reminding them of their potential to overcome adversity. The impact of their journey spread beyond the village, inspiring neighboring communities to adopt similar practices. The disciples traveled far and wide, sharing the story of the little seed in the tree, teaching others about the power of a growth mindset. In each new village, they encountered individuals facing their own challenges. They encouraged everyone to see their struggles as opportunities for growth. "Embrace the storms of life," they would say. "For in every challenge lies the potential for transformation." One day, while visiting a distant town, the disciples met a group of young women who had been discouraged from pursuing their education. Society had deemed them unworthy, but they held on to dreams of knowledge and independence. The disciples gathered them, sharing the story of the tree and its journey to greatness. "You too are like that seed," they encouraged. "Your education is the light that will help you grow. Do not let the darkness of others' doubts hold you back. You are capable of so much more than you can imagine." Inspired by the disciples' words, the young women formed a study group, determined to support one another in their pursuit of education. They studied late into the night, fueled by their dreams of a brighter future. Their perseverance paid off as they began to excel academically, eventually becoming leaders in their community. As the years turned into decades, the tree continued to thrive, standing as a monument to resilience and hope. Children played beneath its branches, and families gathered for celebrations. The villagers taught their children the story of the little seed, ensuring that the lessons of growth and perseverance were passed down through generations. One sunny afternoon, as the disciples gathered once more under the tree, they reflected on their journey. "We have witnessed incredible transformations," they said, their hearts filled with gratitude. "From the small seed to the mighty tree, we have learned that growth is a lifelong journey." Jesus smiled at his disciples, proud of the legacy they had created. "You have embodied the essence of my teachings. Remember that growth is not just a destination but a continuous journey of learning, loving, and lifting one another. Each of you has played a vital role in this story, and your lives are a testament to the power of a growth mindset." To honor their journey, the disciples organized a grand festival in the village, inviting everyone they had met along the way. People came from far and wide, each carrying their own stories of struggle and triumph. The festival became a tapestry of shared experiences, where laughter and tears intertwined. As night fell, the villagers and guests gathered around a great fire, sharing stories under the stars. Each person took turns speaking, weaving their narratives into a collective legacy. From artists to farmers, teachers to students, they all shared how embracing their challenges had transformed their lives. One elderly woman, a former villager who had faced great hardship in her youth, stood up to speak. "I once felt like that little seed, buried beneath the weight of doubt. But through faith, perseverance, and the support of this community, I blossomed into a tree that has weathered many storms." Let us remember that together we can lift each other up, just as the old tree did for the little seed. The crowd erupted in applause, and the energy of the gathering filled the night air with hope and joy. The disciples, sitting in a circle, exchanged glances filled with understanding. They had become more than just storytellers. They were now catalysts for change, inspiring a movement of growth and resilience. As the festival concluded, Jesus turned to his disciples, his heart overflowing with love. "You have taken the seeds of wisdom and planted them in the hearts of many. The legacy of the little seed and the grand tree will continue to inspire generations to come." With a sense of fulfillment, the disciples made a vow to continue their mission of sharing wisdom and uplifting others. They understood that the journey of growth was not just about their own experiences but about nurturing the seeds of potential in everyone they encountered. In the years that followed, the disciples traveled to new lands, spreading the message of growth and resilience. They encountered diverse cultures, each with its own struggles, and adapted their teachings to resonate with each community. The story of the little seed became a universal symbol of hope, transcending borders and connecting people from all walks of life. One day, the disciples found themselves in a bustling city where they met a group of young entrepreneurs who dreamed of starting their own businesses. However, many faced the fear of failure and the pressure of societal expectations. The disciples gathered the entrepreneurs and shared the story of the little seed, emphasizing the importance of embracing their journeys. "Every successful venture begins with a dream," they encouraged. "But remember, every tree started as a small seed. You will face challenges, but do not be discouraged. Let each setback be a lesson learned, and let your growth be fueled by your passion." The young entrepreneurs listened intently, inspired by the message. They formed support networks, collaborating and uplifting one another. Over time, they launched businesses that thrived, not only bringing prosperity to their lives but also creating jobs and opportunities for others in the community. As the disciples continued their mission, they began to notice a new generation emerging, young leaders who had embraced the growth mindset and were eager to share their stories. These young leaders carried the torch of wisdom, further expanding the legacy of the little seed and the grand tree. One such leader, a young woman named Sarah, approached the disciples with excitement. "I've started a mentorship program for youth in our community, teaching them the importance of resilience and believing in their dreams," she said, her eyes shining with passion. The disciples beamed with pride, knowing their message had taken root in yet another heart. "That is the spirit of growth," they encouraged. "Continue to nurture the seeds of potential in those around you. Your efforts will create a ripple effect, inspiring others to embark on their own journeys." As the disciples' mission expanded, they formed a network of leaders who shared their experiences and insights. They organized conferences and gatherings, where people from diverse backgrounds could come together, share their stories and learn from one another. During one such gathering, a panel of speakers shared their journeys of growth. They spoke of their struggles, their triumphs, and the moments when they almost gave up. The audience listened with rapt attention, feeling the weight of each story. It became clear that vulnerability and authenticity were powerful tools for connection and inspiration. After the panel, a young man named David stood up, his voice trembling. "I've struggled with self-doubt for as long as I can remember, but hearing your stories has given me hope. I realize now that my challenges do not define me. I want to embrace my journey and become a source of light for others." The room erupted in applause and the energy was palpable. In that moment, David felt the weight of doubt lift from his shoulders. He knew he wasn't alone. He was part of a community that believed in growth and resilience. As the years continued to unfold, the legacy of the little seed and the grand tree continued to flourish. The disciples watched with joy as their teachings spread far and wide, transcending cultures and languages. In one village far away, a community facing harsh winters struggled to survive. The villagers gathered in the town square, feeling disheartened by their circumstances. They had almost given up hope, but then they heard whispers of the teachings of Jesus and the story of the little seed. A group of young leaders in the village, inspired by the message, organized a gathering to share the teachings of growth and resilience. They spoke of the little seed's journey and the wisdom it had gained. "We may face harsh winters, but like the seed, we can prepare ourselves for growth," they urged. "Let us band together, supporting one another through these challenging times." With newfound determination, the villagers worked together to build insulated shelters, collect resources, and plant winter crops that would thrive despite the cold. As they faced the harsh season, their unity became their strength, and they learned that together they could overcome any challenge. As the seasons changed and the winter thawed into spring, the villagers celebrated their resilience with a festival dedicated to the tree they had planted in the town square, a symbol of hope and unity. The villagers adorned the tree with colorful ribbons and flowers, each representing their commitment to growth and support. During the celebration, the young leaders took the stage, sharing their own stories of struggle and triumph. "We may face difficulties, but we are not defined by our circumstances," they said passionately. "We are like the little seed, capable of becoming something great. Let us continue to support one another and plant seeds of hope in our community." The crowd erupted in cheers, and the spirit of joy and resilience filled the air. The villagers danced around the tree, celebrating not just their survival but their growth as a community. They understood that they were part of a larger story, a story that connected them to others who had faced challenges and emerged stronger. As the years turned into decades, the legacy of the little seed and the grand tree continued to inspire countless individuals across the world. The disciples became mentors to new generations, passing down the wisdom they had received from Jesus. They shared the importance of embracing challenges and nurturing the seeds of potential within themselves and others. One day, as the disciples gathered in a beautiful meadow, they reflected on their journey. "We have witnessed miracles of growth in the hearts of many," one disciple remarked. "The story of the little seed has become a symbol of hope for so many communities." Jesus, still guiding them in spirit, reminded them, "You have become the tree, providing shade and shelter for others. Your journeys of growth continue to inspire countless lives. Remember that the essence of growth lies in lifting one another up." With hearts full of gratitude, the disciples vowed to continue their mission. They understood that the journey of growth was ongoing, a journey that would transcend their lifetimes, passing down wisdom and hope for generations to come. As the final chapters of their journey unfolded, the disciples became storytellers, weaving together the experiences of those they had met along the way. They wrote books, created songs, and shared the story of the little seed through various mediums, ensuring that its message would live on. In schools, communities, and gatherings around the world, the story of the little seed became a cornerstone of education and inspiration. Children learned to embrace challenges and see failure as a stepping stone to success. Communities held workshops and events, fostering an environment of support and collaboration. The tale of the little seed and the grand tree became a testament to the strength of the human spirit, a reminder that everyone possesses the potential to grow beyond their circumstances. It encouraged individuals to take risks, to dream big, and to lift each other up in the process. As the legacy of the story spread, a global movement emerged, a celebration of growth and resilience that spanned cultures and continents. People came together in parks, community centers, and online platforms to share their journeys, fostering connections that transcended geographical boundaries. During one grand gathering, individuals from diverse backgrounds shared their stories on a stage illuminated by the glow of hope. "We are all seeds," one speaker proclaimed. "In our hearts lies the potential to grow into magnificent trees. Let us continue to nurture one another and create a world where everyone can thrive." The crowd erupted in applause, and the energy in the air was electric. People danced, laughed, and celebrated their collective journey. The spirit of growth united them, igniting a passion for change and transformation. Years later, as the sun set on a warm evening, the disciples gathered beneath the now mighty tree that had become a symbol of their journey. They marveled at its strength and beauty, understanding that it represented not just their own growth but the growth of countless individuals around the world. In that moment, they recognized the importance of reflection and gratitude. They took turns expressing their appreciation for the experiences they had shared and the lives they had touched. Each disciple shared their own story, reminding one another of the struggles they had overcome and the lessons learned along the way. As they sat together beneath the sprawling branches, they understood that the tree represented a circle of life, a legacy of growth that would continue to flourish long after they were gone. The disciples vowed to keep the spirit of the little seed alive, nurturing the seeds of potential in every heart they encountered. As time passed, the disciples became wise elders, guiding the next generation of leaders who would carry forth the legacy of growth. They welcomed young individuals eager to learn about the journey and empowered them to become mentors in their own right. One young girl, named Rebecca, approached the elders with a fierce determination. "I want to learn how to inspire others like you have inspired me," she said. "I want to be a part of this journey of growth." The elders embraced her enthusiasm and shared the stories of their own beginnings. They reminded Rebecca that every journey starts with a single step and that she, too, could become a source of light for others. As Rebecca embarked on her journey, she carried the teachings of the little seed in her heart. She traveled to schools, community centers, and villages, sharing her story and encouraging others to embrace their struggles. With each encounter, she planted seeds of hope in the hearts of those she met. As she stood before groups of young individuals, she recounted the tale of the little seed and the grand tree, emphasizing the importance of resilience and growth. "You are capable of amazing things," she would say, her voice filled with conviction. "Embrace your challenges, for they are stepping stones on your journey." Over time, Rebecca became a beacon of inspiration, igniting the spirits of those around her. The ripple effect of her passion spread throughout the community, creating a culture of support and encouragement. As the years rolled on, the legacy of the little seed and the grand tree continued to thrive. Generations learned to embrace their challenges, cultivate a growth mindset, and uplift one another in times of need. The teachings of Jesus echoed through the hearts of many, inspiring them to see their struggles as opportunities for growth. One sunny day, as the villagers gathered for a celebration, Rebecca stood before them, now a respected leader in her community. She smiled, recalling her own journey and the lessons she had learned along the way. "We are all part of this incredible story," she said, her eyes shining with hope. "Just as the tree provides shelter for the weary, we must continue to support one another and lift each other up." As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the festivities, the villagers danced around the grand tree, celebrating not just their individual journeys but their collective growth. They understood that their stories were intertwined, a beautiful tapestry woven together by love, resilience, and the unwavering belief in the potential that lay within each heart. As Rebecca looked up at the tree, she marveled at how far they had come. The once small seed had transformed into a mighty symbol of hope and growth. She understood that this journey was not just about individual achievements, it was about creating a legacy that would inspire generations to come. With a heart full of gratitude, she whispered a prayer of thanks for the wisdom that had been shared and the lives that had been touched. She vowed to continue nurturing the seeds of growth, knowing that together, they could create a world where everyone had the opportunity to flourish. Ending note **** in every heart, there lies a seed. With belief, love, and a willingness to embrace challenges, it can grow into something magnificent. Remember, the greatest stories of growth often begin in the shadows of doubt, but they flourish in the light of hope and resilience. Together, we can nurture the seeds of potential in ourselves and in others, creating a forest of dreams that will stand tall for generations to come. And so, as the villagers danced under the branches of the mighty tree, they celebrated not just their individual journeys, but the collective legacy of growth that had united them. They understood that they were part of a larger story, one that would continue to unfold in the hearts of those who dared to dream, to grow, and to inspire. This is end of the story. Comment Amen if you believe in Jesus' blessings. Please like this video and subscribe this channel for more Jesus story like this. May the God watch over you.